and we're going to see approximately how our LUFSs are looking. Hello. Thank you for tuning into this video. So this isn't the actual video, as you can see here in my field. I have the video, the behind the scenes video. This is behind the scenes. So for whatever reason, it's very unfortunate to hear, but for whatever reason, my original recording of my entire behind the scenes video, which was 58 minutes and 52 seconds long, that entire video has audio, well, the entirety of the first part of the recording, that has audio that is very laggy and messed up. It's audible, it's just messed up, and it's really annoying and sad to see. I will show you an example if I can find a part where I play music. Yes. So what we can see is our audio spectrum meter is balanced. So yeah, as you can see, the entirety of the audio during the recording was all messed up. That messed up muffled sound, I don't hear that. It sounds perfectly fine to me while I'm doing the video. But for whatever reason, the recording messed up the audio of whatever I was listening to. So all of that stuff is going to be muffled, which means I'm going to have to cut out a lot of this part. Thankfully, as it was annoying to me at first, but it's actually kind of a blessing in disguise. Thankfully, I had to stop my recording about 58 minutes in because or 59 minutes in because my app crashed, but when I restarted my recording, the audio sounded fine. See? It sounds perfectly fine during the second half of the recording. So, throughout this video that you are watching, I'm going to have to cut around parts that might not make sense because I don't want you to be listening to, really odd, annoying audio for minutes on end, which normally would be fine because it sounds fine to me, but throughout the recording I will have to cut around parts. But thankfully most of the video is just explanation stuff anyway, so that doesn't really matter. But yeah, so if you do see some weird cuts where I cut around the part where you're supposed to be listening to the music, that's why. So there you go. I don't know how loud I'm going to be in relationship to the the audio of the music. Yeah. One of the big things here is that the audio here for the beginning is kind of like messed up, so I had to get a new audio sample. Same with the end here, because throughout the whole thing, you can hear like audio white noise in the background, but it's usually so quiet in relationship to the whole track that you can't hear it. But obviously at the beginning and the end of the song, it's much louder, so it is a lot more audible. Yeah, kind of like a little bit of an annoying thing with me, and that was my fault. While I was trying to get the footage, because obviously I need the footage to showcase. Because the big thing is with the visuals actually do matter because it's not just like an audio thing. I'm showcasing, using the opacity, I'm showcasing the relative loudness of the original versus the VIP. So if you see the background for the original, that means, oh, this is the audio for the original. And if you see the visual for the VIP, obviously, then you know that this is the VIP. To give it like a visual indication for the people watching, like, what is this coming from? Where is this coming from? And I use opacity as a fairly decent way of representing that. I originally had it as a split file, right? Like the left side was the original, the right side was the VIP. Once I moved on to version 2, which much more heavily emphasizes the VIP, I abandoned that because there would be large portions of the track that would only be composed by one version or the other. And to have only half the screen shown for most of it seems kind of redundant, and it would seem kind of odd to keep going back and forth between and it would also make my life needlessly more complicated for no reason, when opacity works just fine. Um, and opacity and brightness, right? Because how would you designate the difference in volume? When it's a split side, you would have to do brightness, right? And I decided against that because I felt like that was, uh, well, I mean, I still have it in some instances, but for the most part, I decided to kind of abandon that. What I might do is, instead of having it as the way it is in the beginning, what I might do is have the at the beginning, I'll designate which side of the audio, like I'll do a split audio thing, right? Or split video, obviously. And I will designate which side is the classic or the original mix and which one is the VIP. I know I have the filters here. Yeah, there. So I have the filters for that specifically right here. I don't have to worry about the audio filters because in the beginning there is no audio. I still want the fade in video, and I still want it to be muted, so I think everything else should be fine. Yeah, it'll still fade in. I mean, both fade in at the same rate. I'm pretty sure. Well, yeah, because that's duh. That kind of goes without saying. So what I might do is like have it like halfway right here. Um, I'll have the some kind of text here that displays that this is indeed from the from which portion it comes from. So what I can do is text simple here. And just to spice things up, I might do a different font size because I usually do Verdana all the time. So we'll mix things up. We'll go with uGothic. How about that? Just for this, because I don't like doing it in other ways. Actually, I take it back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take an unmodified sample. Yeah, good luck with that. I'll take an quote-unquote unmodified sample. I'm pretty sure I already have a gain volume 2.7, and I need to gain the volume on the original mix anyways. I gotta gain the volume in some instances, and in some instances, I need to do the opposite. So, let's see here. We have the... What did I need again? Text simple. I also have a key spill in a couple of instances. I think it's key spill green because it looks cool, just to designate that, hey, this is different. I don't have it for both because it didn't feel like it was necessary at the time to do that. And indeed, it doesn't feel necessary now. So that's okay. We'll get to that. I'm sorry, I had a stroke again. I'm trying to change the, here, let me lower all of this so it's easier to see what I'm doing here. We'll change the text from Verdana to uGothic. I'll do uGothic Light, which isn't visible in this current state. Yeah. So what we'll do is have one here, and copy and paste it, and have another one here at about the same height. To me, it doesn't particularly matter if it's at exactly the same height, but it would be nice to have it at the same height. In terms of width, that doesn't matter to me at all. I can do position height. I can change that to be exact. So 507, so we'll do this at 507. How about that? There you go. So they're at the same height now. So now I can copy these filters over to here and paste them, and then I can modify the filters if need be. Yes, okay. So one of the things is that luckily, even though it's not part of the visible spectrum, I can still make modifications on on the most top layer, even when it doesn't affect those things. So for example here, I'm going to write down original mix. I could have a background, but I don't think I need to. I think it's fairly visible. VIP mix. And since this is so much less space, I think that's good. Yeah, because they don't take up the same amount of space, and that is to be expected, obviously. So we have to go back and add our gain, which would be 2.7 for the most part, but I can't tell how loud everything is yet. Yeah, and that's fine, because what matters is that it's approximately the same-ish volume, but we'll see. That doesn't seem too loud. But I want it to be loud enough such that I can clearly hear the difference between different parts. Then again, I have my audio spectrum and my audio loudness meters, so those will help me out indeed. 38-ish. Obviously, I don't need the audio to all be at a very exact specific height or length or whatever, right? And I also don't need all of these things, like the video RGB waveform, I don't need that. The video RGB waveform I don't need. So I might cut some of these from the picture. Video RGB parade also, it's useful though, because it can tell me at exactly what pixel each value is, but realistically that isn't a big concern because I can see it here, so it's not really the most important thing in the world, but it is nice. So I think for the time being I will disable that to kind of free some space. I'll keep the histogram because it'll let me know how well the visuals are synced up with the audio. Because this might not be a good indicator, even though, like, because this is slightly out of sync. This video is slightly out of sync, but the histogram is on point. So, yeah, we'll see. We don't need the RGB parade. Well, whoops, I'm accidentally moving some of the files around. Please go back. Okay. Right. The waveform, yeah, I don't need the waveform. So we'll get that out of here too. Yes. Did I not get rid of it? Or did I get... What did I get rid of? Well, it doesn't matter. I'll get rid of it here again anyways. I think I got rid of the audio waveform. I would like the audio waveform. Sorry. I do want the audio waveform. I don't need it, but it would be nice to have it. Video waveform, though. Video RGB waveform. That's what it's called. Okay. It's so close to the bottom of the screen that I keep accidentally popping up my Windows, my Windows thing. Yeah, I'm going to have to take a close look at S and I for this, at different parts of the song to make sure that parts that I want to be approximately the same volume are indeed the same volume. I don't know if, because I have like a little dialogue box that appears right here. I don't think that is visible in the recording, which is a shame, but that's okay. Yeah, so for me right here, it says negative 36.1 decibels FS. So, that is going to be approximately where our, sorry, for 63 hertz. Let me specify. Because 63 hertz is approximately where you would see it. I guess it's more like 50-ish, 60-ish hertz is approximately where you will see some of the more loud audio signals, like bass. Bass is always going to be at around that area. And obviously a lot of the quieter sounds that are very hard to hear are going to be at the 2000 hertz, 6.8K hertz. Generally speaking, you're not going to hear that unless if you're listening to some really, really weird songs, to leave it at that. But obviously, the audio spectrum is to show at different hertz levels how loud or how much audio is being picked up from different positions. So at about 50 hertz-ish is where you're going to hear some of the loudest stuff like bass 808s, right? I also can take advantage of my audio spectrum, audio peak meter. Audio peak meter here. It'll give me a decent idea of about how loud some of the different parts are, which is good because I want different parts to be the same volume. Sometimes I want it to be quieter. For example, I think in my earnest opinion, we can take a look at the audio waveform. fairly consistent. Nothing's going up to 0, so I think it's good on that part. Currently, yeah, it's fairly consistent on both halves. Obviously, for a drop scream here, everything is kind of breaking because it's meant to break. That's the whole point. It's meant to be an abrasion in that specific instance. So now we can take a look at our handy dandy audio loudness meter, and we can even reset it, which is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to reset it. And we're going to see approximately how our LUFSs are looking. It seems like the volume, or it seems like the loudness for S is going down a bit, but that's to be expected. It's around the 10-point range. Also, I just realized that all of this is way out of whack. Like, none of the audio is syncing up. None of the audio meters are syncing up with anything. Yeah, this is way out of whack. I don't know what's going on here. None of this visually is syncing up with the, that could be a problem. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to save this as a different project. Version 2, let's call this version 2, let's just rename it. Mind Games with VIP New Start. Completely new start. What I'm going to do is I'm going to close Shotcut, come back to it, and see if our audio meters here actually add up, because none of this is adding up, which is a real problem because I'm going to need to sync some of this stuff up. It looks to me like some of the stuff is synced up, but not all of it. Okay, well, I think I'm going to remove the files from the portfolio, and then there shouldn't be a problem. From our playlist, I should say. Because they don't really matter. Like, I got this 18-minute thing right here. I don't need that. So is our thing synced up? Let's see. It is. Thank goodness. Jesus. Why was it out of sync? I have no idea. That was annoying me. Because that was causing real problems for me. So now I need to do the reset again to make sure that our audio is actually appropriately at about -10 LUFS. So we'll see. Okay, I'm also going to go through and check out some of the other stuff, but what's important to me is that this is all approximately -10, except for S, which dipped down to 11 very often. But, okay, so now we'll take a look at the second drop. See, this is all quieter. It's so good that I have the audio loudness meter, because to me, in the moment, I can't hear a difference. They both sound approximately about the same volume. When I uploaded my original video and I started listening to it, I was like, is this part quieter? I couldn't tell. I have a really bad problem with distinguishing small changes in decibel while I'm editing, and then I'm listening back to it, and I'm like, is that louder? I really can't tell. So, yes. My theory is correct that the entirety of this solo part here is too quiet. So what we'll do is well, the answer is obvious. We're going to raise the volume by even more than 2.1. Because originally, right, for this one right here, for the VIP, I gained the volume by, I think originally the VIP was quieter. I think that's what was the case. Originally the VIP was quieter than the classic, than the original mix. So I think I changed, I updated the volume so that it would be more in sync. I was not expecting it to be such a pronounced difference. And obviously here we have our bandpass, so it's purposefully quiet. That's part of the drop. We're at 3300 hertz for CF. Bandwidth is 6200. Roll-off rate 6. I think it sounds good, right? Let me know what you guys think. I might lower the wetness. We'll see. Like, if I lower the wetness to 77, right? You guys think that sounds better? 47? How do you like the, here, let's do a comparison, right? We'll start from 13, and then we'll go up and see how you guys think. Yeah, and obviously I have the, so this, if you don't know, this is a, I forgot what it's called, a fade transition, where it fades the audio and the visuals of the previous clip. It fades the audio to 0 and the opacity to 0. As the audio and the opacity of the superior clip, or the clip that comes after it. That's what I'm going to call it, the clip that comes after it. That audio is becoming louder, and the visuals are becoming more opaque. So yeah, I like it at 89. And the transition too. I think it's in a really good spot. It sounds good. It sounds natural. Though I am going to be adding the. Here's what I'll also do. I want to see your guys' opinion on a couple. I'm going to do some tests in the back here. I want to see what you guys think about the. If I mess around. If I mess around with the. Some of the other settings in the bandpass, we'll see what you guys think. And I'll make this longer because I want you guys to have a better opportunity to hear it. Okay. So, bandpass, right? So we have our central frequency. Let's raise that. I hope that guy kind of gives you an idea of what some of the bandpasses can sound like. But now let's go to normal sounding stuff. What matters is that all of this audio is too quiet, so what we'll do is we'll reset our LUFS, we'll add our gain, and see how that changes. Not quite there, so we'll do another maybe 5.2 gigs. Decibels, sorry. I don't know why I said gigs. Still not quite there. Okay. Let's gain even more. Are these changing, by the way? They might not be changing. Oh, they're definitely changing. Okay. Okay, sometimes they're not changing. Oh, you know what? These aren't changing. Why? Why are they not changing? I have this enabled. Yeah, this is an issue. I don't know what's going on here. Why is it not changing my audio? I was like, man, this is barely a difference. It's because there was no difference. That's a problem. Yeah, what in the heck? Well, I don't know what to do, because my gain it's straight up not working. Now it's working. What in the hell? Yeah, there we go. What the hell? I was like, I'm raising the volume by 9 decibels and I'm not hearing a difference? There's no way in hell. Okay, alright. I thought I was crazy. I'm gonna be honest. I was like, what? That's more like it. I'm like, wait a minute. Hold up. Something's wrong here. I don't know why it didn't register in my mind that the filter just wasn't working. Wow. I don't know what to think about myself after that. Well, we'll try 4.6. That's crazy. Okay, might be slightly too quiet. Let's do 4. Let's do 4 split. Yeah, we'll see. Ooh, that's really good. It sounds the same. I can't tell the difference in audio. I really can't. I don't know what's wrong with me. Yeah, it's hard to hear, which is good, because it doesn't sound good if it were easy to hear. Like if I disable this, it sounds so different. Like I don't know, it sounds so different, I guess. Okay, let's make sure that these are actually synced up, because these weren't synced up. And granted, the audio-visual spectrum here isn't accurate. Let me rephrase that. It's misleading. And I think one of the big problems is that there's something wrong with Shotcut where a lot of these are just straight up wrong. I have had with every single one of my recent projects, with Endless Smile, with BOTB, all of them, I've had issues where after I exported the video, post-processing was already done, I looked at the video and everything was out of sync. The video, let me rephrase that. The video and the audio were out of sync, but it was consistently out of sync, thankfully. Because if it wasn't consistent, I would give up and say, hey, it looks out of sync, deal with it. I'm not going to fix it. Thankfully, it was all consistently out of sync, but it was by like half a second. It was like 14 frames out of sync. And I'm like, what? Why? It looks good. And that's why I have this right here. That's why I have my video histogram, because I can compare and contrast the video histogram to the audio spectrum meter and see if it lines up. Oh, if you're wondering, by the way, this is a Keyspill green. Yeah, Keyspill green. Keyspill orange, or Keyspill blue basically has no effect. So here we have no Keyspill. As you can see, the tops of buildings are green. Keyspill green and Keyspill blue. Keyspill blue is virtually the same. Okay, so now, important part is where I have to try and decipher this ending part to see if everything sounds good. Does it sound good? To me it sounds good, but to a viewer, some parts might be a little bit quieter, some parts might be a little bit louder, and I can't really tell the difference very well. So that's why we have our lucky little audio loudness meter here. Whoops! I accidentally rippled edit across tracks, which is something I don't want to do. I think I'll disable the visuals because it's choking. It's choking hard. I'm focusing specifically on the audio anyways. So, I guess I can showcase, now that you've kind of listened to it already, I can showcase specifically what the different parts are meant to be, right? So, here, and I can turn on the visuals for this, right? So, this part right here, this is just going to be mostly the ending parts where you hear well, I'll display the audio for you so you can listen. Yeah, kind of like the growls near the end. Yeah, that sounds fairly exactly like how I want it to sound. I might raise the volume of this a bit because it's very quiet. Yeah, that kind of gives you an idea of what the different parts are, because this is without the VIP. So it gives you an idea of what it looks like. To me, it sounds decent, but I want to make sure that the volume is all good. So we'll take a look at the audio spectrum meter and see how that looks. I think also what it would be a smart thing is to do kind of what I did in the version 1, which is lower the saturation for this one. I think the saturation might already be lowered. Yeah, it's already lowered for the left one. So, or the brightness is lowered. The brightness is lowered for the left one, which makes sense because it's quieter. The right one, I want the saturation to be lower for visual effect. Not that there's any changes to the audio. I just think it would look better if the saturation was lowered. What I'm noticing is that a lot of the noticeable parts are not getting picked up. That's okay. It doesn't necessarily have to sound 100% clean. Like, oh man, it drives me crazy with my Endless Smile mix. The VIP kind of sounds compressed. It sounds compressed compared to the original. And I don't know if that's from the version I got from YouTube, from Rhinolex, or if that's just how the VIP sounds. I don't know. I could potentially add a bandpass to make it sound less muffled. Currently, that's not one of my plans because I don't have a lot of faith in the Endless Smile project. It seems a lot of emphasis is put on the VIP because, honestly, the VIP is just better in most ways. Whereas this one has a lot of properties of the original that I would like to keep. When I say this one, I mean Mind Games. I would like to keep that aren't possessed in the VIP. See, this part sounds maybe a little bit too loud. So what I might do is lower the volume to kind of normalize it. What I might do 0.5 decibels. Yeah, it's still there. It's still there. I want it to be, because yeah. I want it to be there, and I don't want it to be too overemphasized, because then it sounds out of place. Yes. I might, I'll increase this a little bit more. Like I said, I don't want to overpronounce it, because then it sounds out of place. But stuff like this is hard to catch with the audio spectrum, or audio loudness meter. It still sounds good, and it doesn't sound as over, because I'm okay with it being louder. I don't want it to be like so much extremely louder that you'd notice it to the point where it sounds out of place, because I want everything to sound like it's all part of the same song. That's the point. Oh, this one was negative 3.5 or negative 3.6. That explains why, and that explains a lot, actually. I don't know how I didn't notice that one was already. That's funny. And this one's negative. Yeah, that's good. That's smart. That's a smart move. So which one was this? 2? Yeah, I think this is okay. Well, let's raise it up to 1.4 and see how that sounds. I love this, dude. It sounds so good. It sounds so clean. Yes. So I'm also going to take a look at the opacity. I got to mess with the visuals in a minute, and that's where I'm going to pick up the video histogram or whatever, right? This sounds really good. Yeah, 1.5 is fine. What I might do... That sounds so good. I love this. I love this whole thing. I love this whole project. This is a really good one. Yes! Nice voice crack there. Let's take a look at our mediary portion. Does that sound like a, does this portion right here, does this sound like a seamless transition? To me it does. Like, obviously the volume is being raised, but it sounds good because there's a lot of sound already going on. So the fact that because I raise let me do behind the scene, otherwise it doesn't make any sense, right? So negative 3.3, right? And I decided to emphasize this part right here to 1.8. I might do 1.5 instead. It's a little high. 1.5 because the VIP doesn't, or it does. For the VIP, the main chorus part where it's I'm sick and I'm tired of playing these mind games, right? That part in the VIP is a lot quieter, and I liked it better when it was loud. So, like here, I'll show you. See, yeah, it's good. I like it, but I liked the original, and since I think that obviously the whole point, like the VIP, let me specify this, right? The VIP and the original are both great on their own. If I'm ever taking parts away or removing parts, it's not because I don't like those parts, but it's because I want to make something special. I want to make a special mix in between. So even if I might like some parts better than others, and then let me specify too, this is also the VIP emphasized version. I have a mostly equalized emphasized version also on my channel. But this one is meant to specify and give a lot of specific care to the VIP, because I think it sounds better when you prioritize one version over the other if they sound particularly different, which in this case they do. I mean, obviously for all songs they're going to sound different in some ways or others. I think these are like the most similar, which is why I think this mix works out so well, because I can include some parts of songs into others and they sound seamless. You might not even be able to hear them, which is perfect. That's how it sounds in the original mix. And this volume is quite a bit louder than it was for this part. I might even make it louder still. Let's try -2 and see how that sounds. Not too bad, not too bad. I think that probably is better. I don't want it to be too loud, obviously. I think that sounds good. Like, this part is more broken up into different parts. I think I actually like the original more than the VIP in this instance. What I might do is flip it. I might have the VIP more pronounced, or the classic, the original, more pronounced than the VIP in this specific part. Yeah, well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. we're going to de-emphasize the VIP in this part just as an experiment, and we'll see how that sounds. It doesn't transition as well. That's right. That makes sense, because this one is so much louder, and I don't feel like changing that. Yeah, because it sounds good on its own, but the transition isn't good. It's slightly louder, but only slightly. See, that transition was good. This is good. This is good. This is good. I think, let me know what you think about that transition. I think it's good. I will split that into 2 different segments. And what I will do is I'll de-emphasize this. Okay, maybe not by -7. I think that's a bit egregious. And I will further emphasize this back to, what was it, 2.7? Yeah, 2.7. 1.8. Well, let's see. Oh, I think my app crashed. Good news and bad news. Unfortunately, my app crashed, which means I had to restart my recording, which means I'm gonna have to edit this video. I was hoping I could just direct upload it by, directly uploading it, but now I gotta actually put effort. No, I'm kidding, it's fine. I was gonna edit this video anyways. I was gonna take bits and pieces of it and put it on TikTok. Oh, yeah, I lost my scopes. I guess it's because I didn't save while I had the scopes visible. Whoops. No, wait, yeah, it did. I just lost them, I guess. Anyways, audio spectrum, audio loudness meter, let's get the audio waveform in there, and last but not least, video histogram, right? That's what it is? Yes. Arguably, the only one I really need is the audio spectrum meter and the audio loudness, but that's okay. So where was I again? Beginning? Yes. Does that sound like a good transition? I think it does. I think it sounds good. Like, it does sound louder, but naturally it sounds louder because this portion here is, I don't know. Okay. I think I've heard enough. So what I might do is a little review. I'll have to look at the visual stuff. I'll have to look at the visual changes, because some of these visual changes are fairly mundane, but we'll see. We'll see. I think it's good to represent the audio in a meaningful way, so we'll see. Okay, let's take a look and see how this sounds. It does sound a bit quiet, and visually, yes, according to my audio loudness meter, it is a bit quiet. So we'll raise the volume even louder. Let's make sure that it works. Okay, so yes, it does indeed work. So let's raise it to like 3.2 and see how that sounds. I think just as a nice little visual, thing here, I might I might invert colors, because that's always a good thing. How scary? How scary is it that I'm inverting the colors? That's actually really scary. Look at that. That looks cool, though. Okay. So, once again, because the video is out of sync, I'm going to have to refer to my video histogram, and see how that looks. Not too shabby, not too shabby. I'm going to have to look at the specific values. Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I don't know. Everything's kind of out of sync, so I'm gonna not mess with that right now. I'm just gonna leave it as is. What I might do is instead of that, I might do white balance. Yes, 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 yes. So that way, even if it is... Okay, well, let's go back to it. Let's make sure that the audio actually is about the volume I want it to be. What is this audio track, or what is this sample? Yeah, that does sound good. That sounds good. Okay, I might raise the volume by this a little bit. I don't want it to be too loud, though. That sounds good, right? It's really hard to tell the difference. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah, I think the fact that this is hard to hear is a good thing, because I don't think it meshes with the original or the VIP very well. Is this the primary force? I think that might be. It is. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Okay. What I might do is gain volume, like 1, maybe like, yeah, barely. Okay, yeah, I want this to be loud as crap, because this is relatively, or the opacity to be bright. That sounds good to me. Everything's about the level I want it to be. Okay, so I'm going to take a break from this because my computer is literally about to explode into a pile of just heat and fire. So I'm going to shut off my computer for a bit, relax, chill out, and I think that is it. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I take it back. I'm a liar. What I'm going to do is go through real quick and show some of the key distinct features, all kind of like in one swath, right? So here we have our overall file. As you can see here, there's a lot of cuts and changes over near the end, as you don't see. Okay, hold on. Let's go back. As you can see here, near our third drop, we have a lot of different transitions and cuts and everything like that. Obviously, this represents the vastly changing volumes. As you can see, some parts are opaque, some parts aren't. We have our what is it called? Our bandpass here, right? Which is working at 3300 hertz CF central frequency, and our bandwidth is at 6200 with a roll-off rate of 6. Dryness or wetness 89%. Because it sounds good. Theoretically, I could also do some of the other ones. Like I could do. I can make it sound like underwater or whatnot, but I think this sounds good for the purpose. And obviously at the beginning and end, due to me having a difficult time recording the audio, and by difficult time I mean me just being dumb, I had to re-record the audio for the beginning and the end because there was noise that could be heard in the background very slightly and very quietly, which is why you can't hear it throughout most of the songs, but when the song is quieter, you can hear it. So that would be at the beginning and the end. So that's why I fixed that. So overall, the project looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. This would be like my 4th rendition of this. And yeah, I'm happy to hear it. I hope that this might be the actual part that I will eventually upload. We will see. It's not going to be my next upload on my music channel, but it's going to be something special. So, thank you guys so much for watching this. Uh, Hope this gives you a little bit of insight onto how I make some of these videos. I do, despite what it might seem like, I do put a lot of work and effort into, well, a relative amount of work and a relatively lot amount of work and effort into these mashups. I have to take into consideration the volume, the representation of the different mixes. I'll have to cut in and add in different parts of the track to make things sound better. It's honestly a real big process, and it'll take me, I think I probably, just for this VIP mashup, I probably spent approximately 20 hours on this specific song right here, just this VIP mashup. Maybe not 20 hours. I think that's a bit, roughly like 16 hours. Yeah, and it's really fun. It's really fun going through and making small changes and listening to it and hear it and making it sound better. And I like the visual effects, all of that good stuff. I'm happy with how this turned out, much more so than the original version that I uploaded as a kind of like teaser with my Battle of the Bros. Battle of the Bros I really liked. I think that's good. I might have some small tweaks to that here and there, but I think Battle of the Bros is overall very good. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. This version, well, Battle of the Bros is public. Endless Smile, I think it's in my Totally Secret Videos playlist, so you can view it technically public. You can just go into my music channel, go to playlist, view the Totally Secret Videos playlist, and you can see all of my unlisted videos that are of the least somewhat high quality, that are not public either because I don't want to spam, or because I feel like there is a lot of potential changes. Basically, it's like a draft. Like, there could be some changes. Battle of the Bros did have some drafts. I just didn't make those drafts public because all of those changes I made in the warehouse. I didn't publicly upload it. Most of the time, honestly, is I upload them unlisted to YouTube, and then I share that file to some of my friends, get their opinions, see what they think about it, and if there's any major changes I think I should make or I want to make, then I will go ahead and make them. And that is what I did with Mind Games twice now. So yeah, I'm happy with this version. I think everything in terms of loudness and audio and everything sounds good, but yes, thank you. Peace and have a good day. See, that's pretty crazy. Let's see if we can change the wetness. Yeah, it sounds too similar. Yeah, I don't know. I think the central frequency was good where it was. That's good. That's really good. I like that one. I'm gonna mess around with the roll-off rate and see what happens. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the roll-off rate is affecting this one very much. Yeah, 4K though. 4K CF, not bad. Not bad. I thought it was gonna... Well, 4K CF at 6200 hertz. Yeah, okay. Remind me of 4K CF, because that's cool. That sounds just more quiet. It sounds more the same, but quiet. Yeah, it seems... more the same. I think it's just because at specifically 6200 hertz. I think at 6200 hertz bandwidth, it's gonna sound like that. 8K though, not bad. Let's go to like the hundreds. This is gonna sound... Oh yeah, okay, not messing with that. Not messing with that either. 2500. 2500 hertz. Not bad. Not too shabby. Or, well, yeah. Yeah, I'll add this as a new filter. Muffled. I'll just call it muffled. That's going to be this bandpass here. I could add a high pass or a low pass, but I like bandpass because... See, this might be better for the purposes of what this is trying to be as a prelude to a gain and transition, FA transition. This might actually be better, but I don't like it as much. I think it serves its purpose better, though. So we'll mess around with the bandwidth and see how that goes. That sounds good. That sounds more like underwater, I think, right? Well, if we raise the wetness, it probably will. I don't know. We'll see. That sounds like that sounds like exterior audio. That's what that sounds like right here. And that's exactly what I'm going to call this filter. See, like I said, it serves its purpose. Is it better than the muffled? I don't know. I do all of these. I'm doing all of these hand motions, even though you can't see my hands. We'll see. Okay. I think that's a bit too quiet, but it's not too bad. That's too high frequency. Too high frequency for my taste. That sounds underwater to me. The wetness has got to be a high, though. I think at like 90% wetness is where it's good. Yeah, this is quiet, though. I'm going to call this filter underwater but quiet. Also, in the meantime, I should probably take a look at my task manager and see. Yeah, I mean, mostly everything else is kind of being undershadowed, and that's fine. That's kind of how I want it to be, actually. Yeah. Okay, we'll mess around with these. Ooh. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think this is like muffled version 2.0. I like all of these. Well, to a certain extent. Some of them serve specific purposes. Oops. Yeah, let's see the roll if rate changes anything. A little bit, but not much. Okay, I think that's enough for the experiments. I hope that guy kind of gives you an idea of what some of the band passes can sound like. But now let's go to normal sounding stuff.